What's up everybody, Cynda here and welcome back to another episode of Cynda Talks. And listen, we gotta take this show on the road today. I can't be late for the 77th annual speed eating competition.
Hello sports fans, my name is John Johnson. And I'm Jonathan J. Jones, and we'll be commentating the 77th annual competitive eating festival. But we've hit a roadblock already folks, as only one person decided to show up. So instead of competing against real people, our contestant will try to finish his entire meal before his playthrough/review of Kirby's Dream Land concludes. Oh, the suspense! So true, Jonathan. HowLongToBeat.com says that this game is only 46 minutes long, and man, that's a lot of food to get through. Kirby's Dream Land was released in 1992 for the Game Boy, and it was developed by HAL Labs, and directed by Masahiro Sakurai. The Meteos guy? I mean, the Smash Bros guy? Yup, Kirby's Dream Land was Sakurai's first ever video game project. He wrote up the design document for it when he was 19 years old. What was I doing at 19? One has to go. Now, I could go much deeper into the development history surrounding this game, but Masahiro Sakurai has a few videos going super in depth about the creation of the game, including some really interesting technical details. So this video will mostly focus on my own experiences with the game as not to steal his thunder, but I do recommend checking out those videos. As for me personally, Kirby is a series I like to check in with every now and again, but should definitely keep track of more. Like a longtime friend you shoot a "how's it going" message to like twice a year. I played a lot of Kirby Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot back in the day, and because I liked those games so much, I started chipping away at games like Kirby Superstar, Return to Dreamland. But the weird thing is that as I write this script, it's hard for me to create a timeline in my head of when I played each game. Because I remember playing Kirby's Adventure 3D Classics on my 3DS all the way back in 2012-ish, but buying Return to Dreamland in 2015 or 2016, Kirby's been a part of my life forever, but there's no way I could pinpoint when I first played Dreamland specifically. I do remember picking up a physical version a while back. It's an awesome collectible, even if the backlightless Game Boy screen is a pain to work with nowadays. But Kirby's a great series, and as we'll see, there's a lot of series-wide compliments and complaints that started right here in Dreamland. Booting up the game, we have a title screen, clearly, but there are a few secrets hidden away. If we press up, select an A, we can unlock Extra Game, which is a more challenging version of the base game that we'll discuss a little later. And if we press down, select, and B, we can pop open the configuration menu that lets you change Kirby's starting vitality, how many lives you start with, and even contains a sound test mode. Neat stuff. Alright, so the story this time. The diabolical King DDD has stolen Dreamland's food, as well as their sparkling stars, or sparking stars. The manual isn't the cleanest translation of all time, but hey, it's better than anything I could do. Bag of magic food. King DDD's bullies can't stand to hear me sing and will explode with laughter when I puff out the microphone. Anyways, we continue on to stop the famine caused by King DDD, starting out in Green Greens, Kirby's 1-1, and will be referenced almost as much as Mario references its 1-1, much to the chagrin of me. I hate how almost every game in the franchise references Green Greens at any and all opportunities, but it's whatever, it's alright. We're introduced to Kirby's moveset, which is much simpler than later entries. No slide kicks, air dodges, copy abilities, just raw Kirby gameplay. Kirby can fly, which is pretty unprecedented for a 2D platformer. Sakurai has said this is to make the game more accessible, and while it may sound incredibly overpowered, the small screen size balances the mechanic quite nicely. You can't just fly over every obstacle, and some platforming segments are designed with flight in mind. There's also some verticality scattered throughout the game, which once again balances the flight. Sure, you can fly up this tree here, but enemies are jammed in this small screen size, making it tough to thread the needle without engaging with them. Then we fight Wispy Woods. Wispy Woods! This guy is everywhere in the Kirby series, but blast him with a few apples and we're on our way. Checking in on our sole competitor. Holy moly, he's barely touched it, folks. He's looking up the meal on Google to count the calories. This is not looking good. Eat, man, eat! Next up, Castle Lololo, which as we all know is named after the main character of HAL Labs' other series, Adventures of Lolo. Wait, we don't all know that? This enemy-dense castle does a great job at inhibiting Kirby's flight ability, and forces you to carefully move around this stage. Carefully, whoop! And there is the man himself, Lololo. Spit his, ice, ectoplasm, whatever, back at him and take him out. A pretty easy fight, but that's just the mini-boss. Something to note about this stage is the presence of quite a few items, including a bomb item that lets you blast multiple enemies at once, the super spicy curry which lets you breathe fire for a limited time, and the microphone which acts as a screen nuke. And while these are neat, they feel oddly shoehorned in, like they needed to hit a stuff quota, so they jammed in a bunch of one-time use items. Interestingly, all three of these abilities became game-wide additions in the next game, Kirby's Adventure, with the bomb becoming the spit out multiple enemies superstar thingy, and the spicy curry and microphone becoming copy abilities. Alright, take down Lololo and his partner? Sister? Chum? La la la, the same way we did before, and we are on to the Float Islands. Also, I must say, the music in this game is absolutely marvelous. Every track has been amazing so far, and this one really does hit different. Same with the sprite work. There are so many, don't say charming, debonair characters and really detailed locales for a Game Boy game. As for the level design itself, nothing too out of the ordinary. A lot of open ocean forces you to utilize flight, and then an underground section to do the opposite. Yet another well-designed level that introduces a new item to mix up the boss fight, the Mint Leaf. It allows Kirby to puff air indefinitely without falling and needing to puff back up. A victim of translation confusion, as it's known as a sweet potato in Japan, which according to the Kirby wiki is because sweet potatoes apparently cause hiccups, but over here it's because mint makes your breath cold or something. How does that work exactly? Menthol has the unique ability to activate TRMP8, tricking your nerves into thinking they are cold when they are actually not. And so Kirby disintegrates a blimp with nothing but a pack of Listerine mouth strips. No shot! Cynda is eating dessert first! This is gonna completely ruin his appetite! And after a throwdown in the clouds, we explore them in the next stage, Bubbly Clouds. And this stage has some bite. Now I think it's a good time to talk about the difficulty level of this game. It's not too easy. I think Kirby nowadays has earned a reputation as the quote-unquote easy series, which makes sense given its intent to be a gateway for newer, less experienced gamers. But this game is still one of those pre-2000s games and will be mean to you, just a lot less so than something like Mega Man or even some levels in the earlier Mario games. Plus, I'm not even mentioning the extra game we talked about earlier. Just playing about half of Green Greens, I can tell you that this mess is just evil. Back on topic, however, we progress through the Bubbly Clouds and run into Kracko Jr. This little rascal zips around the stage and fires cannonballs. Definitely one of the tougher bosses. One of the tougher bosses has to be his pal, brother, Kracko, who has taught his sidekick well. He possesses a lot of the same abilities, but adds in this beam blast. Once we beat this guy, we can take on the maniacal King Dedede. Here we're introduced to one of Masahiro Sakurai's bread and butters, the late game boss rush. This guy freaking loves his boss rushes. The arena in Kirby Superstar, All-Star mode in Smash Melee all the way to Ultimate, the boss battle mode in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the boss battle mode in Kid Icarus Uprising. It's not a Sakurai game unless you can take on multiple enemies in a row, which I mean, I guess is most games, but you know what I mean. You travel through these mini-stages, remixed versions of the game's levels, touch the Kirby at the end, which asks a lot of Kirby lore questions.
Kirby is in a coma the whole time, and touching holograms of himself is his own desperate plea to hold on to his own subconscious and escape.
And then Kirby fights King Dedede. I would say that this is the most difficult boss in the game, which, you know, is what I would say if I didn't think that it was actually Kracko. Kirby wins the day and ruins all the food stolen by King DDD by dropping it in the ocean. Bye-bye. The credits are worth talking about, though. There appear to be a couple of pseudonyms here or something of the sort, including Cypher, Sunday Rain, who people believe to be Satoru Iwata, and Bubbly. Bubbly! As for this game's legacy, there's a remake of this game in Kirby Superstar titled Spring Breeze, and it notably combines Castle Lololo and Float Islands, while adding in some new content here and there. In conclusion, this game's a great start to a very good series. It's shockingly dense, but also shockingly short. This mess clocks in at about 30 minutes if you take your time, and as I write this script, I'm legitimately worried about running out of B-roll because this game is so short. And while I want to make a video about game length in the future, what I'll say now is that it's a little annoying that I could beat this game before my Applebee's mozzarella sticks come out, but at the same time, having a game that's this short kind of rules. It makes replaying it so easy, and with the dense stages, as I mentioned before, there's almost zero downtime. It's a certified classic, and you could probably get halfway done with it while watching this video. We're almost at the end here, and Cynda has frankly embarrassed himself. Oh wait, what's going on? It looks like he's talking to the referee.
Alright, sweet, awesome.
The ref has gone to grab... No way. Is that a to-go box? He's putting the remainder of the meal into the to-go box. Is that even legal? According to the rules, the competition ends when there's no food left on the competitor's plate. Cynda wins!
Look, Mom! I finally made it!